Hello everyone and welcome aboard the Starship Nightwish. I'm Commander Exorcist and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. Yes, we are aboard the Nightwish. The scene you are seeing behind you is not pre-recorded, it is live in-game, so I'm out aboard the Nightwish taking care of a little business. But I thought that this would be a perfect opportunity to do a video that I have been wanting to do for quite a while. So I hope that you'll stick with me for the next probably 30 minutes or so as we take a look at Out There. This channel started because of Out There. That is, for the longest time, if you go back to some of the early videos, aside from some exploration discovery archives, that's all that was on this channel. This was a place for me to document my exploration in Elite Dangerous and to showcase the places that I've been. And so the first season started out, it was aboard Artemis, which is my ASP Explorer. And over time, it's taking on kind of a more structured setup with the Nightwish and then some other starships as well. I used a crate at one point. And then now the Arborea, which is my Mandalay. So what we're going to do today is we are going to go through each of the trailers for Out There, 1 through 7. That's right, because this show is 7 years old. I have 7 years worth of content for Out There. That is super freaking crazy. And I've had so many bad things happen in the past few months, so many challenges, so many losses, that I've become a little nostalgic over the past few weeks, trying to look back at some things that, you know, that I really miss and that I've really enjoyed over time. And Out There was one of them. And even though Out There still continues on, you know, it has changed quite a bit over the years. And I watched the first trailer a couple of weeks ago, and I just had in my head, it's like, it'd be so cool to kind of sit down with you guys, just talk face to face, no characters, no fancy stuff, one take. If I bump my head or something, if I bump my microphone or something gets crazy, we might restart. But, just kind of a one take, sit down, and we're going to go through each one of the trailers. And I'm going to talk about, kind of what I was thinking at the time, kind of the intention of the trailer, and then maybe some little trivia associated with that era of Elite Dangerous. Because Out There has gone on for so long, and it's been so consistent in its design and execution that it really is a kind of an archive of the evolution of like graphics performance and appearances, planetary alignments, all these different things that have gone on, the changes to the atmospheres and the worlds. And over time, Out There has been an excellent way that has captured a lot of that. So if we look at Season 1 of Out There and Season 2, they look a lot different than the ones today because the planetary technology is different, the ships are different, everything is different. And so it's pretty exciting. I'm happy that Out There has, solidified itself in a lot of circles as a, pretty respected piece of work. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to watch the trailers. So we're going to start with Season 1. This trailer was published about 6.5 years ago. So this is a really old piece of work. And so some of the volume on these will be lower, especially in the beginning because of just how they were made. The background music for Seasons 1 and 2 is the Guardian Ruins. So if you've ever visited Guardian Ruins and you hear the creepy music in the background, it's one of my favorite Elite Dangerous tracks, period. And so that is the background music for the first two trailers. So if you have a little bit of trouble hearing them, I had to turn the volume down on the trailers significantly so that you can still hear me, especially when we get into Seasons 3 and on, where there's heavy orchestral background music and they kind of take on a more of an epic sense. So, and without further ado, let's get started with Season 1. Oh, and I had the Xbox logo in my name. God. A Voyage into Darkness. So I had just come off of a divorce at the time that this video came out. So it was a pretty dark time for me. Also, it was a dark time because the galaxy was dark. There's Jacques Station. This is before the Beyond updates that changed the lighting in the galaxy, so it was really dark. Like, even by the stars, it wasn't as bright and kind of cheerful as it is today. All of this was filmed on an Xbox One X. So this was all done on console. There's Artemis, my first exploration ship. It's my first discovery for geology. I've said that a bunch of times, though. People are probably tired of hearing it. And there is the World of Death. And the OG logo. Coming soon. So, it says coming soon. Out There was formed, I've said it a couple of times, via an accident or out of, I guess you could say it's either an accident or out of necessity, depending on your perspective. I had all this footage that I had captured going from the bubble to Colonia, and I needed to do something with it, so I decided to kind of put it together in this little clip show. And I enjoyed it, and other folks enjoyed it and shared it and got some positive reactions, so I just decided, I was like, let's make this kind of a regular thing with Out There. And I put coming soon on the trailer because I had no clue when I was actually going to start doing this show regularly, because you know, I was having a really hard time and was trying to kind of balance a kind of a new way of living, severe anxiety and depression issues and a bunch of other stuff going on. So, you know, the idea of kind of putting myself out there and sharing something like this was legit terrifying. It still is today, but I've gotten better at managing that terror. So, yeah, Out There, Season 1, very dark, but the season was really nice. It's very colorful, and there's a lot of cool places. 100% Horizons filmed on console. So we are going to jump now to Season 2. I remember releasing Season 2. I was actually away from my home in Texas visiting family, and I had queued it up. And I remember sitting at the kitchen table of my parents' house, clicking the button to release this trailer, because I was really excited about getting back out there to explore, because this was still the Horizons era. It was still dark, and kind of the galaxy was much smaller than it is now. We didn't have Super Cruise Assist. We didn't have frame shift overcharge drives. We didn't have all of that stuff. So we didn't have fleet carriers. We didn't have a lot of the things that make the galaxy so much more accessible today. You know, we didn't have that stuff. So it was still dark. It was still a challenge to get out there. It was still a challenge to experience the galaxy. And let's see what happens in Season 2. Oh, I also got a new name at that point. I went from DOS Exorcist to just Exorcist. Got a new logo. And obviously I got an upgrade to my video editing software, because now I have overlaid words. God, that's such a gorgeous planet. I miss those like valleyed worlds. I put Jacques Station back in here for some reason. I don't really know why. Maybe it was just a nostalgic feel. I don't know what new encounters that would be, but okay. Maybe I was hoping for something. There she is, the Nightwish. Beautiful shots aboard the bridge. She was brand new. Not a scratch on her. And then a crate. I still don't understand why. I think it's just because I liked the sunset shot. But yeah, I used a crate for the logo sequence there. Season 2, coming soon. God, I love that song. So, yeah, I'm not really sure why I used the crate in that particular shot. But yeah, Out There Season 2 was really kind of getting my footing, and had set up a route that I was going to travel, and was still filming on Xbox. So this was a really fun season. This was where I really started to kind of catch my wind and get a kind of, I'd say, I don't want to say get a habit, but kind of get a method down, get a routine to where I was doing things. So Season 2 was a lot of fun. Toward the end of Season 2 is where it stopped being so much of a solo and isolated project, and out there started gathering kind of a little bit of like a fan base. So I had regular commenters, I had regular folks. I joined a couple of Discord servers that knew about the show and were, always looking forward to a new episode, which was a lot of fun. It was really cool. That happened more toward the end of the season, and then right before the season finale, and there's always a break that I would take over the holiday season, and then we moved into season 3. Now I'm going to talk about season 3 real quick before we jump to that trailer. We're going to jump and we're going to watch season 3. You can see it right here. And you can see the little preview of what season 3 is. So season 3 it's a good trailer. It's a good trailer. It's not the worst trailer in the world. It's different. It's my first attempt at doing voiceover work with music and action, so there was a lot of moving parts. I'm not a big fan of the voiceover in this trailer. It's not necessarily what I say. It's the audio quality. The mix is way off balance. The voice is way higher than the music, and it's off, really off. And so we're gonna watch it. This trailer's filmed in 2 parts. First section is filmed on Xbox, and then the second part is stolen assets, or I say borrowed assets from the Odyssey DLC teaser trailers, because this was the era that Odyssey dropped on us. And we had all these promises of majestic new worlds to explore, and space stations, and getting out of our ships and walking around and all this cool stuff. And I was so excited to be able to climb. I'd been visiting these majestic worlds for years in this game, and I was so excited to be able to climb some of these massive locations. And then it flattened it. The Odyssey worlds basically flattened the galaxy for the most part. I mean, you got a couple of peaks here and there, but it's nothing like it used to be. And so out there, season 3 is the transition point. So this is a good place if you want to see how things transitioned going from the first part of the season, and you'll notice the jarring difference between the different sets from Horizons to Odyssey. So let's go ahead and jump in, and let's watch the epic season 3 trailer. Now, this one actually got played on a Frontier live stream. So they really liked this one, and I like it too. It's just, it's got some technical problems. Here's the Nightwish with a weird orange paint job. I don't remember that.
We've been out here for a long time.
I love that planet.
We've made many amazing discoveries.
It's a great shot. Here it is again.
And seen wonders beyond the imagination.
There's the Eden's Gate star system.
We've stood on the shoulders of giants and danced with the
And this was a sequence I built claiming the Nightwish had been destroyed. It's about a 2 or 3 episode run.
But now, the galaxy is changing.
Oh, really? It really changed.
And although things are different, this journey is just getting started.
Oh, I wanted to climb those mountains. I mean, there's still a lot of beauty like that out there.
My name is Commander Exorcist, and my ship is the Nightwish, and these are her stories.
This was where it really became about the Nightwish. It was less about me exploring, it was about the ship and our adventures.
Join me for a fantastic adventure, the likes of which you can only find.
And I still really like this part. The conclusion to this is epic.
Out there.
Even got a new logo that year. That was cool. Season 3. We didn't even fade out to black that time. We just stayed with the cruise. So, yeah. So, out there, Season 3. What an epic adventure it actually turned out to be. It was really tough with the transition into Odyssey, and but I like the mix of the assets here. It is jarring, the difference. You can tell the like almost a hyper realistic version in the teaser trailer versus what we had in Odyssey. It does look a little cartoonish at times, especially in that shot of the SRV. Like this one right here, there's an obvious difference, the lack of texture on the hillside versus what what's presented in the teaser here. So, and this is pretty much what we got. I mean, if you look at it, this is pretty typical for the Odyssey planets. And so, I think maybe we didn't look at it close enough when it was being presented to us, but yeah, it's nothing like some of the large ones that we definitely used to have. Like, let's see, where I think I had one of those. Yeah, like one of these epic mountains. I wanted to climb these so bad, but here we are. All right, season 3. It was a good season. It was a tough season. It was really tough to get through, but we made it. So now we're moving into season 4, and I'm not going to talk very much through this video because I believe that this is one of the best pieces of content I have ever created in any multimedia format. This is one of the best pieces of material on this channel. And there is not a moment in this video that I would ever go back and do differently. Most of the videos I make, I always have something where I go back and say, hey, I kind of wish I did this differently or that differently, or, I could have added more stormtroopers or whatever, like a special edition kind of thing. But season 4 trailer, no way. This is absolute perfection. So we're going to watch the season 4 trailer because at the point that season 4 hit, most of the problems with Odyssey, a lot of the performance issues, some of the visual things had been fixed. And so, the game was looking good and it was performing well at this point. So season 4 is in this era of Elite Dangerous where it had hit the bump with Odyssey, but it was still going and it was trying to kind of claw out of the ditches. And this is really where we're at. We were in a solid point, and it was the first year where Out There would completely be done in the Odyssey era on PC versus its original spot on Xbox. Let's do it. I also got a new logo too. I believe this is a neon world that features prominently in this video. So you'll notice kind of a theme. This is not a job. This is not a task. And it was really emphasizing the fact that Out There is something that I enjoy doing. This is a pleasure of mine. This is not something I'm doing just to be doing it. It's not a task. It has to be done. The moment that Out There becomes mandatory, then I'll just stop doing it. Sally Morgan Moore really liked this part. Is the way of life. To quote Private Hudson, I am the ultimate badass. And my ship was pretty badass too. And we're showcasing a lot of the new technology, the new planets, the Scorpion SRV. Yeah, this is so cool. Quite a far cry from the dark intros of Season 1, that's for sure. the likes of which you could only find out there. Oh yeah, season 4. It's funny because if we look at the title sequence for season 4, there's an SRV, a Scarab SRV. There are no Scarab SRVs in season 4. It's all Scorpion. So it's just weird that I picked that for that final sequence with the geysers and everything. But season 4 was a lot of fun. This was probably peak out there. This was, we were kind of fighting back against the negative publicity that Elite had taken. And I felt like Out There was a big part of that and trying to show that, yes, exploration is still viable in this game, despite some of the setbacks that it had experienced. So yeah, Out There, Season 4, this trailer's definitely my best. I haven't been able to top it, and I don't even think I could try. And that's where we get into Season 5. And, I had to kind of like contend with that personal demon of, man, how am I going to beat Season 4? Season 5 has got to be epic, right? Well, I thought about it, and then I kind of hit a point where I was like, maybe not. Maybe let's just make it good. And you can't have them all be super epic. And because eventually I'm just going to epic myself out of a job. And so Season 5 trailer is a little bit more subdued. It's still got some epic aspects to it. But Season 5 has some theming to it. And you'll notice it'll say, I think it says, in the heart of darkness, the light endures. And at this point, we had been dealing with almost 2 years of just relentless negative publicity for Elite. And this was the point where things were really starting to change, but not completely. We were starting to see some new content dropped into the game and player numbers were coming back. And so I wanted Out There to continue being part of that messaging, part of the reassurance to people that, yes, exploration, discovery, photography, all of these activities are still viable activities within the game. And so we're going to take on Season 5. And I had this vision in my head. I wasn't sure about the rest of the trailer. It kind of came together as it did. But I had this vision in my head of an introduction where there's like a desert scene or like a dark planet, and it's kind of peaceful, and the plants are kind of swaying back and forth, and then that peacefulness is just destroyed by a speeding SRV to show that, the depths of space will be tamed by me one way or another. So they will learn of our peaceful ways through force if necessary. And so that's what you're going to see at the beginning. That was probably the only really, truly scripted part of the trailer. The rest of it was put together just with some stuff that I liked, and it all seemed to flow. So let's check it out. Also got a new logo again. Logo's changed on almost every one of these. It's like after an epic Season 4, just everything seemed to be so peaceful and calm. That was I think the intention here. Here we go. There it is. The Nightwish still out there doing her thing. There it is. In the heart of darkness, the light endures. I kind of wish I'd have found a different shot for some of this stuff. It's kind of barren, but, it works. It works. I think in hindsight, I wish I'd have found probably a more attractive world. This world was gorgeous. So was this one, and thanks to Commander Reaney for pointing me in the right direction for this planet. It was amazing. I always like these little buses. I wish they'd update the models, but I like them anyway. It's got kind of an older Epic feel to it. Like, you know, we've been doing this a long time, and it's smooth. I didn't like this part because the words matched up to the speed of the SR or the fighter moving away. Freaking love this shot, though. Liking the hat. I think I had a little hashtag. I think this is the one with the hashtag. Yes, it is. What is out there? Had my own hashtag campaign during that one. It was a lot of fun. So you can see the logo changed on that one as well. So we got rid of the web series that was under it. It was cool. So it's just out there at this point. It still had the old wing version from Odyssey, but you know, a little bit more movement. Now it's backing away from you because it's super epic. And then the hashtag what is out there. So season 5 was a lot of fun. Season 6, let's go down here. So we got season 6. So out there had been around for 6 years at this point. Oh, 5 years if you count the start of season 6. And you know, there was no messaging at this point. It was just, let's explore. And that was the cool part about it, is that season 6 is much more upbeat, and it's such a far cry from the darkness of like the first 2 season trailers to this one. And so what we have is the continuing saga of the Nightwish. Now, season 6 trailer has some prophecy in it. I did not realize this at the time. But when I was putting the trailer together, I had in my head this compulsion to add text about an explorer finding their way home, and so it makes it in there. It's in there, and it partially it's for dramatic effect to get people wondering what's going on. You know, what's happening? Is this the last season? Is this all? Is the Nightwish done? And the reality is that every season of Out There is the final season. I start every season of Out There as if this is it. I'm done. I'm not going to do another season. And when we get to the end of the season, then I decide whether I want to do another one. When I'm done with Out There, you'll know it, though. I'll do a video here. But in this case, I just had a really strong compulsion that something was changing or something was going to end. What I didn't realize is that after I published this trailer, we got 4 brand new ships in Elite Dangerous. The Thargoids destroyed so many different things. They invaded Earth. There was all kinds of craziness going on. And in the midst of all of that, the Mandalay. And when the Mandalay was revealed, I got so many messages from people saying, hey, are you going to replace the Nightwish with a Mandalay? I'm like, well, I'm not going to tell you even if I would. Why would I tell people that? So I held out my judgment until I actually got my hands on a Mandalay. And once I did, I loved it. Absolutely fell in love with it. And I knew that as much as I loved the Nightwish, it was time to let her rest and try something new. Because there's some locations that were too dangerous for me to take the Nightwish down to because of thruster capabilities and other limiting factors. The Mandalay did not have those limitations. The Nightwish has never had a rebuy. I mean, it's a 7-year-old starship that's never had a rebuy. And I just was kind of done. So the Season 6 trailer kind of prophesies on the end of the Nightwish, which is not announced until the final episode of the season. So I knew pretty much the moment that I got my hands on a Mandalay that we were going to retire the ship, but didn't announce it until the end of the show. And so, there's a little bit of prophecy. So when you see the statement, every great explorer must find their way home, when I wrote the trailer, I had no clue what that meant, but eventually I found out. So here we go, Season 6. It's much more upbeat than the others. It really is. More evolution of my logo. And continued evolution of my character appearance with the cowboy hat and everything. I think this was an Argon planet. It's like no matter what's going on in the world, no matter how bad things are, no matter what messed up thing you're dealing with, the Nightwish is out there. Or at this point, Commander Exorcist is out there exploring, looking for something great to show you. There's a heavy, like really powerful symphonic vibe here. And the Nightwish really carries that really well, kind of like speeding through that neon gas. She's a fantastic ship, I'll tell you that. Here it comes. Oh, I think I got a little bit ahead of myself. Yep, and there's the Nightwish. Here it is. This is where it comes up. Every great explorer must find their way home. Don't know what that means, but it sounded nice. So no fancy hashtag campaigns that year, just fade to black. Season 6 is coming, and it really was routine. And this is probably one of the lower rated trailers that I have as far as view count and reception, but I think it's because of how routine it had become, and that might be part of the reason that I chose to retire the Nightwish when I did. So yeah. Now, we did retire the Nightwish and transitioned before Season 7 to a Mandalay called Arborea. Now, Arborea gets its name from a Panos Cosmatos psychedelic horror sci-fi movie called Beyond the Black Rainbow. And Arborea is the name of the institute from the movie. It's also the name of the lead scientist in the movie that's responsible for a lot of the chaos that's going on. So the Arborea makes its appearance in this trailer for the first time. I had not told anybody. It's kind of like the galaxy's worst kept secret. Everybody knew I was going to transition to a Mandalay. They just didn't know what kind of Mandalay it was going to be, what it was going to be called. Was it going to be the Nightwish 2 or something like that? No. This is a completely different thing. And so in this trailer, this is about revealing the new ship. Everything is new in this. I mean, we got new logo and everything. But I want to call your attention when we watch this trailer, and it's very fresh in my mind because this just came out a couple of months ago, and I remember doing a lot of editing to this one. And there is a moment where you're going to see at the very beginning when my logo appears, there's an anaconda. It's for the shipyard digital display. Well, it says anaconda, so that's obviously the transition. But if you look in the very back, there is an advertisement for a Mandalay. That was not intentional. I was focused so much on the anaconda being up on screen as I was doing my camera work, I didn't notice the Mandalay until I went back to watch it for kind of the final edits and everything. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So it was good timing. The theme music in this trailer is also from Beyond the Black Rainbow. It's actually the theme song for Barry, the crazy scientist from the movie. This is kind of like his theme song. So here we go with the last one of the day out there, Season 7. If you haven't seen it, you should have seen it. It's pretty new, but here we go. Let's go ahead and do it. And now we've got Exorcist sitting at the bar. He's kind of sad because his ship is gone. He's retired it. He's reminiscing about the future. And there's the shot. So you can see the Mandalay in the very background there. I was more focused on the anaconda up front here to put the logo up. Yeah, this is straight out of the movie. All the music in the movie is like this. It's amazing. It's kind of funny how we went from. I love this shot, by the way, standing inside the ship circle. It's kind of funny how we've gone from this extremely dark representation at the beginning to this epic grand celebration series of trailers, and then here you have. It's dark, but it's more contemplative than anything. So there's our new ship. First shots of the Arborea. And the shot coming up here with the ship, there's a little bit of a high-pitched change in the song. Listen to it, and you'll hear it once the ship is on screen. There it is. Just those subtle changes, you know, waiting on that subtle change in the music to be able to showcase the ship. So different than what it used to be. This game has really evolved. So in season 6 trailer, you had the same shot with the Nightwish. Now you've got it with Arborea. Obviously trying to experiment with some different shots and angles, having to learn how to shoot this ship after shooting an Anaconda for 7 years. And the new logo appears, and everything is new. New ship, new look, new logo. But what's the name? We still don't know what it's called. Yes, we do. Welcome aboard. Go beyond the black rainbow. Yep. Or beyond, whatever you want to say. And that is that's season 7, so the debut of the Arborea. Now Arborea is a beautiful ship. I enjoy flying it. I really like it. I enjoy how it flies, how it looks, how it performs. It hasn't been fully embraced by my fan base. There's been a few folks that have asked me to bring back the Nightwish because they're not a big fan of this ship. But I would say in response to that, give it some time. You know, let her earn her wings, because the Nightwish didn't roll out the gate being epic. Like, it took years. It took a long time for the ship to make some discoveries and present itself in a way to kind of become endearing among the community. So give Arborea a little bit of a chance, okay? That's all I ask as going forward. So that is 7 years of out there. That is crazy that we have reached this point. And the show is still going on, and I don't have any intentions of stopping at the moment. So, yeah. Hey, everybody. That's going to be it for this kind of nostalgic return down the line, watching all of the Out There trailers. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you'll go back and take time to watch the old series, the old seasons of Out There, because they're still online, and they're still as good as they ever were. And there's plenty more coming where that came from. So, hey, everybody, thanks for hanging out. I'm Commander Exorcist. Take care, fly safe, and I will see you out there.